You are listening to the Gate 7 International Podcast, a podcast connecting Olympiacos fans from Melbourne to Baltimore, from London to Piraeus. We are four Olympiacos fans from every corner of the world, bringing you news and interviews of the team you love in English. With new episodes twice a week, you'll never lose the latest updates and stories of the team you love. This is our team, our city, and our land. Man Oniro Thrylos. You're listening to the Gate 7 International Podcast.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Gate 7 International. I'm your host, Ari, joined here by Labro. No solos today, guys. We got more than one person today. Labro, how you feel, buddy?
I'm doing all right. The game tonight was really shit. The game on Thursday night was really shit. I just came to say that. It's yeah. I'll give a shout out to all the students grinding right now. Finals period. I feel you haven't been on the pod in a little while because of that. But yeah, everything is shit. Like that's what I got right now. I don't know. I don't know. We can let's talk about the game, but we should talk about Antwerp as well because we didn't speak about that.
Yeah, we definitely will. We're going to get in. We promised everybody that we would do a full kind of breakdown. We would go into the Antwerp game. We would go into the into this game, into the post-match for the Aris game, and we're going to do that. But before we go any further, we do have a couple of quick housekeeping items, guys. I brought up in both of the solo shows. We do have some fun things coming up. Once the winter break starts, we have an interview coming up with the president of the Olympiacos fan club, Teddy Menace. That's going to be really fun. Keep an eye out for that. We also are going to do another holiday boozing with the boys. Keep an eye out for those details. We want everybody to join in. And then lastly, just a quick shout out to our sponsor, Aris International. Aris International is your one-stop shop for all your international transshipping needs. Doesn't matter whether you're shipping marble, olive oil, cars, packages, things your cousins might need in Greece or here. Doesn't matter. Aris International is here to help. Give our friends a shout out, 410-675-4696. And please send them an email, sales@piraeusintl.com. Anyway, guys, yeah, you know what? We're definitely going to just get right into it. Let's start with the Antwerp match, Lambro. Go ahead. What did you have to say about that match?
Listen, luckily it didn't go to Antwerp like a lot of guys couldn't, COVID reasons, lockdown, blah blah blah, whatever. It's back. But it was disappointing. Like from the first 15 minutes, after the first 15 minutes, I didn't think we would score, and the team was just shocking. The whole team was poor. Overall, just not great. And I felt really bad for the people who had to go to Antwerp, to watch that. I felt bad for Costa. He didn't travel so far, but the guys who went from Greece, the guys who went from Germany, blah, 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 and watched that, like, really shit. Like, it's the players didn't even show up. I really feel bad for the people who traveled to watch the team there. Yeah, it just was typical of this season. I think the Antwerp game tonight, the Frankfurt game, the second game with Fenerbahce, like Olympiacos cannot create anything from open play these days. It's just shocking. It's really bad. And there's no playmaking ability in this team. The midfield is stale. Agi Bukamara, God bless him, but he's not Kostas Fortounis. He doesn't create enough. Bouchalakis, I don't know what the hell's going on this season. He's been tragic. I don't know. The whole midfield just is tragic. There's no creation from the center of the pitch. We saw that in Antwerp. We saw that again tonight. It was like Hassan was in the box. Let's just throw a cross in whenever we can. It was terrible. I'd really start there. Like, I don't see much difference between the Antwerp game than what we saw tonight. I really just really poor overall, I would say, Adi.
Yeah, I don't know who did the sorry guys, I don't know who did the the
Let me
episode
change that.
announcement. But yeah, I did see that. I saw. Yes, we know the game ended 1-0, not 2-1. Yep. That gives for man of the match, we get a 5. Podcast is getting a 5 for this. Thank you, Costadino and Aguilo Coots, for pointing that out. We do appreciate it. But no, Lambro, you brought up some good points, and I feel like I jinxed us in the solo pre-match when I pointed out that there were some good signs I saw from like the Offie match and from previously some glimmers of, hey, maybe there is something there. And I pulled up how crappy Antwerp was, and they've been leaking goals to everyone, most goals allowed, and then we go into that match and we just see absolutely nothing. It's nothing. And we talked about this pre-podcast. This team right now, it's all we do is just go to the byline, hit a crossing, and hope somebody follows through. What happened to that play and breaking through the middle of the field, the interplay that could break these teams down? What happened to those beautiful through balls from Madi that used to just cut defensive lines apart? What happened to those runs going in and around? I listened to one of our episodes, like I mentioned to you right before we started recording, that there was an episode during Champions League when we were playing against, I think it might have been Porto at the time. And after that 2-0 loss in the first leg against Porto, we were like, what is going on? How come? Where's the width? All we can do is play up through the middle. We have no width to help give that style of play and to give space for that to work. We have the opposite problem. We can't build anything up. We don't have any direct interplay that can break down some of these defenses. All we do is play down the wings, play a crossing, and hope for the best. All of our chances, our goals are coming from either a mistake where somebody's pressing, they win the ball off the defender, and then we capitalize off of that, or it's off of a set piece. We have done nothing in open play. This team is tragic. It doesn't create well in open play at all. And in the second half, I know there were people that thought we were playing better, but I didn't see much of an improvement. I just saw us capitalizing on mistakes in this Aris game. And it's very worrying signs. The whole thing doesn't surprise me because we've kind of seen this all season, and we're hoping constantly that, hey, maybe we'll see something here. Oh, we saw something good in this game. Maybe we'll see something better. And we're just not seeing the improvement. Now, I am not of the opinion that the Antwerp game was worse in all aspects than that first Frankfurt game. I still believe that Frankfurt game in Germany was the worst I've ever seen in terms of almost everything except for shot creation. And the data does support that. Our match tempo was higher in Antwerp. Our pure possession was better, but we didn't create shit against Antwerp, except for that Socrates header in the beginning of the game. That was it. I still think that Frankfurt game was garbage, but these are two garbage performances, the worst performances in Martin's tenure in the same year, and that's troubling to me.
Yeah, I agree. I think I was the one who drafted a tweet we did after the first half, and it was like, was that the worst 45 minutes we've seen under Pedro Martins? There were 2 shots, none on target, and it was terrible. And at the end of the game, we only had 2 shots on target in total. It was a pain to watch that whole first half. And you don't need to remind me about Frankfurt, Adi. Just don't. We don't need to talk about goddamn Frankfurt. I hate that place so much. But I don't know I don't even know what to say. Like, it seems like we come on here and we rehash the same things, and sometimes there's a glimmer of hope. Oh, maybe some things are changing, but then we have nights like tonight, and it's like, what the hell's the purpose? Like, what? It's shocking. Like, the football is so bad. It's so bad. It's so one directional. It's just like, go to the wing, put in a cross, put in a cross. It's I don't know what to say. Like, I don't know what the solution is. I was talking to you as well just a bit before we came on, and I thought, you know what, like, maybe it's time to start Valbuena at the 10. Like, what? Maybe he wasn't available tonight. I don't know. He wasn't available in Belgium, but listen, like there's no creativity just no creativity within this team. And one of the problems is the 10 position, we have no one. I think Costa said we're missing Fortunis when Fortunis comes back, blah blah blah. I think it's time that money is spent on a creative midfielder. I think Jordi Dominguez is gone. Marco Marin was that guy for a little while. Mattia Valbuena, of course, the past 2 seasons, but Olympiacos needs desperately creative players in the midfield because at the moment, Mari Camara has decided to, who knows,
Check
he's
out.
not even a creative midfielder at the heart of it, in my opinion, but he's just exploded. I don't know what the hell is going on with him. So Olympiacos needs a creative midfielder, and they don't need Clem Grenier. Is that his name? Grenier. They need
Yeah.
someone of quality. Like no more wingers, no more Onyekuru, no more Gay Rodriguez. Like for these players to make a next step, Henry Onyekuru is shit. Like let's just be honest, he's really shit player. His level is known, but what would help Henry Onyekuru is having a functional 10. And I'm sorry, Agi Bukamara, I'm not seen as a creative midfielder. I think he's a good player. I think he's very good at making interceptions, positioning's good, leading the counter, but he just doesn't do it for me as the creative midfielder that the team needs. And I think it's a position that needs to be talked about because I don't know where the team goes for there.
I think you've made some good points, especially about the 10. I'm in agreement. We're relying on a teen. He is still a teenager, right? Or did he just turn 20 years old? Ayibu Kamara.
Yeah, he just turned 20, but 20.
So
But the thing is, like,
he disappears in and out of games. If we could get a full 90 minutes, I think he's functional, but we need another 10. I'm 100% on board with you. We do. I thought Rony Lopez was supposed to be the guy that maybe should be doing that, but I guess he's just another winger here. I don't know, but I think you're definitely onto something there. And I do want to say, because I think there's a little difference in context with what happened in this game against Aris, which made us look so ugly, versus what made us look so ugly in Antwerp. In Antwerp, we reverted again to the 4-3-3. Now I know when we play a 4-3-3 with Mvila, Bukalakis, and Mari Camara, Mari tends to be further forward, but it hasn't worked. It worked when Mari was running box to box and looked like a superstar. But when he's not, it really limits us. And he can play a 10, but he doesn't have that same he doesn't have that same ingenuity. He doesn't have that same creativity further up the pitch. The vision for him is when he's deeper. And part of the issue with, especially with that Antwerp game, was I don't understand why Martins overcorrects in some of these cases. Like there's one thing that has worked for us so far, and that's the 4-2-3-1. We play the double pivot, we play at 10, overlap our wing backs and inside wingers. That's the only thing that seems to work on a consistent basis in some way, shape, or form. But yet we deviate. We go into a 4-4-2, we go into a 4-3-3 just randomly when that hasn't worked for us all season. And I don't understand that. It doesn't make any sense to me. And the difference with this game is I'm not sure what the game plan was in particular, and we'll get into that in a couple seconds. Now we do have a couple of comments coming in here, Lombro, and I want your opinion on a couple of them.
Sure.
First, we have Glory Days. Unfortunately, Mari Camara's form, for a reason I can't explain, disorganizes this team in its whole. What do you make about that?
Yeah, well, I think Mari Camara was a big reason for Olympiacos' success throughout the Martins tenure. Like, this is a player who's been here the whole time Martins has been here in different roles, and I think he's been a very important piece. And this season, the form has been very poor for reasons, who knows why, for sure. There's reasons to speculate, but okay, Mari Camara having been out of form does not explain everything for me. I don't think
Right.
he is the be all end all. I think he's a fantastic player, but there is more things missing just overall within the team. And I think the way the team is set up in this formation, this 4-3-3, it's getting real old. Again, like I said, I don't get it with Bouchalakis and Mvia in the same midfield. I feel like Jan is not getting the best out of himself because of Bouchalakis needing to play in the position. And I think Bouchalakis is, I think he can say for himself, has had a horrific season. He's been very poor. And what else is there to say? I don't know. I do think Marika Mara's poor form plays a role in this, but I think there's deeper issues at play. And that's for sure. And I see a comment again from Gloria saying Fortunis will be back soon. I don't think we can hold our breath for a lot from Fortunis. If he comes back and he produces something, that's fantastic. But this is a player hitting 30 years old who's just gone through 2 knee surgeries. How quick will he be? I don't know. How long will it take him to get into form? I don't know. Honestly, it's not something we can plan on having. So I really think that there needs to be an investment at the 10 position, at the 10, at the creative midfield position. I don't know, but a midfielder, not a winger who can play there, such as Ronnie Lopez, blah, blah, blah. I think this is going to be an expensive player, maybe. I don't know. Or who may be coming back in January? Maxi Lovera, maybe run him out. I don't know. That's an idea. I don't know.
He hasn't looked amazing for me in Argentina. I keep up to date with all of our loan players, and the guy is, funny enough, in Argentina they think that he looks flashy. They like how quickly he gets to the wing, but he doesn't create any goal threat. Okay, great, he gets forward with the ball, but what has he done with it? I don't think he's going to be an answer for us. Oh, and great timing. We've got Costa jumping in here. Costa, how you doing, buddy?
What's up? How's it going?
Hey, all Costa right. was on the ground in Belgium. Sorry you had to go see that, man. That's that was tough.
Did they not even come and clap too, like in Frankfurt? Like that pissed me off so hard. I would be raging.
It was worse.
It was worse. Oh, I would have raged so hard on this guy.
I was thinking about it earlier. Actually, it was disheartening, man. It was just like it was nothing. It's like the first half, the crowd was giving it everything, and the second half, it just, even in that small corner that they had us, 860 people, how many we were, being, it was hard to get excited about anything going on during that game. In the end, the most exciting thing was we had Vaclik in front of us, and he was just stopping everything in the second half. And you just, that was a performance worth seeing. Didn't mean anything in the end. We lost the game, and it was just disheartening. And at the end, Cisse went down on his knees. He does his prayer at the end of the game, and he was right in front of us. He turned around, he clapped, he showed the badge. Great. Jan and Villa from kind of a little bit farther away turned around and clapped Vaclik as he was moving away from goal. But everybody else just, they don't want to say they ran away, but they didn't even turn around to acknowledge.
Right.
We were out in -1 degrees. Some people came from not Belgium, but from Greece and other parts of Europe. And all right, cheers.
Yeah, I hear it. Now, Costa, I had there's a comment here from Aguilos Coots that I wanted to get your opinion on, and you as well. Well, Lambro and I have just been kind of talking about this, but Aguilos says Martins made rotations to the team against Antwerp because he had his whole focus on today's game, and it still wasn't the best performance we have seen. What do you make of that?
If I can go first, the one thing that I've realized over these last 2 games is that Martins has no idea what his proper starting 11 is. And I think we chatted about this a little bit over text throughout the week, that there are probably 3 players in the starting 11 that are mainstays. Oleg, Cisse, and probably and Vaclik. Those 3, and then in the midfield, we can say Jan and Villa. He's starting to get back to some kind of rhythm and fitness, but honestly, who are our wingers? Is El Arabi our first true striker? Is Tiquinho? I don't know. I don't know what our best starting 11 is, and we're in December.
You know what I noticed too is why well, what happened to the two striker setup as well? Like we lack creation from the midfield whatsoever. Clearly don't have the personnel to create from the midfield. We've played with that in the preseason. We played at that earlier in the season. Tonight, why wasn't that an idea from 60th minute onward or something like that? Lately, it's just been one or the other. I'm trying to solve the creation crisis in my head because I don't think there's anyone in this midfield who can solve it at the moment. And maybe it's that two-striker formation, but he got rid of a third striker. So is it really possible to even play like that? I don't know. So I don't know. It seems difficult. It seems difficult to solve. I think we're 9 days away, 10 days away from that December break. And then I honestly think we need signings. We need help fast. I really think we need a midfielder so bad. And I really think they need to bring the money and bring someone in who, like Valbuena, like Chori Dominguez, has like some flair, something exciting, some experience. I don't know where the hell you find that in January, but I'm desperate. Because this midfield is so dead. There's no creation. There's no 1-2. There's no running at people. Agibu Kamara, like I was telling Adi, like I don't see him as a 10. I don't know what he is because I think creatively against a low sitting block like this team, he really struggled. So anyway, that's just my opinion.
So I don't know if you guys remember, I even actually wrote a blog about this when we were still seeing that flop from the 4-4-2, the 4-3-3, and the 4-2-3-1. I pulled every creative metric I could find to compare the two, and it was bad for all of them. They were we got nothing out of the 4-4-2. We got nothing out of the 4-3-3. The only scheme, the scheme that we get the best out of, is the 4-2-3-1. And that was when, and in that blog, I made the complaint, like, why are you, these don't work, or at least maybe the 4-2-3-1, it doesn't look good, but these also look like shit. These look worse somehow. So at this point, I mean, we can mince what formation we should use, but one is poorer than the next. And the 4-2-3-1 might not look good, but unfortunately, it's the best we've got. And going back to the core, this might be really bad, but if it's the best we got, this is what we have to work with. And on to Costa's point, I also wrote about that in the most recent blog that about the post-match with Antwerp. Now, the core that Costa brought up, I think I added like 2 players. With recent form into consideration, I thought, you know what, maybe if this continues, you say Roni, because Roni's looked pretty good the last couple of weeks. And in open play, he was the only person that created much of anything today. Again, in open play only. For Nova Sport, he was their key player of the game based on that. And I think I also added, just based on the end product that we've seen thus far, forget about his inconsistency and how he disappears and reappears on the pitch, but I included Agibu in that, I think, as well. But even assuming that that is your core, right? Even if we were assuming they were playing more perfectly than they actually are, who else do you piece in there? 3 weeks ago, we would have said Masuras, but the last month, maybe more, I think it's maybe even a month and a half, Masuras has been all effort, no execution. We haven't seen the end product from him. That player that came out on fire to start the season, the effort's still there. The off-the-ball movement, the ideas are still there, but what's happening? Nothing. Onyekuru, forget about it. Done. Fuck off. I'm done with him. Seriously. Then there's the striker situation. And I know this gets contentious with Lambro, but El Arabi, from his hold-up play, he's regressed when it's come to that. And maybe it's because he's getting older, But at the same time, should we be relying on him? And maybe this has something to do with, because the guy has to drop back all the time to get the ball. Have you in some of the possession maps of the last couple of games we played with El Arabi, he's sitting deeper than the wingers are. He's sitting deeper than the number 10. That's a fucking problem. He's supposed to be finding space in between the strikers. He's supposed to be making moves in behind them. He's not supposed to be coming in deep to receive the ball and play make for us. This is a huge problem. And
Adi, can I cut you off? I think
Yeah,
the lack of form of El Arabi goes back to the midfield. When was El Arabi the best? I would say the first season, maybe with Valbuena producing for him.
yeah.
I remember both of El Arabi, a monster amount of goals, Valbuena with a huge amount of assists. That has dried up. There is no one creating anything for El Arabi. Like,
No.
I can't think of any good chances he received from anyone. He just received some crosses into the box and went for them, which, okay, is fine, but that's not, El Arabi is not Hassan. You don't just send the ball into the box and pray. He has no service, and he has no form because he has no service. I think it's like hitting the wrong egg with El Arabi. And I'll say one thing: Pedro Martins and this whole team is so lucky that Greek football is so fucking shit.
Oh yeah.
Because if this was 3 years ago with Ike, Pauk, when they were slightly better, let's say, I don't know, Panathinaikos has always been shit. But anyway, like with a little bit more money and a little bit better teams, this could have gone to shit really fast, especially the Europa League draw. Fenerbahce was a complete joke. Antwerp was very poor, one of the worst fourth place teams in it. This could have gone so bad. I think a little bit of context shows that we were extremely lucky. We're extremely lucky to be in the position we are. I know we're getting results. But we're getting results because the level of football in this country is so shit. Like, and these players are making a ton of money. They're well paid and they're quite expensive. But really, I just, it's shocking. It's shocking. The level of football being played is, and we're running away with the title while playing this shit. It says a lot. It says a lot.
Yeah, there's two comments here. One from John Zabukas. It's no fluke that resting Madi a few games ago coincided with probably our most stable midfield performance. He's a destabilizing factor at the moment, which is a shame because Madi has quality. El Arabi is effective when he has service, no form. And then Agyelos. El Arabi goes back because our midfield isn't positioning to make a pass. So he tries to create for Masuras or someone around there. I've seen him go back 3 years in a row, even the 1920 season. And he did, but he was more effective at it last season and the season before. If you look at his key passes, where his looks go, he holds the ball a lot longer this season. That's just how it is. He's holding it longer. And I don't necessarily blame him for that. Who opens up for him? When I put this in our group chat, but have you guys been noticing our fullbacks when we're in possession and open play, right? Our fullbacks start to move forward. They start to overlap. But then if the ball isn't played while they're in stride, they all sit at the top. Then we have 6 players sitting in a line right in the offensive front with Bukhalagis and Mvila in the midfield, figuring out who they're going to try and bomb the ball to, playing it between each other, and then the center backs. What the hell is that? Where's the movement? Why do we have 6 guys constantly? I have 13 different screenshots today of that happening. And it's like 20, 30 seconds passing by. There's no movement. It's just 6 guys sitting there. The fullbacks on both sides, the inside wingers, and then the attacking mid, as well as El Arabi. It's just a line, 6 people in a line. It is ridiculous. What is the plan going forward with that? What do you expect to do? No wonder Aris prevented us from doing anything. They only need to stack 4 people and 4 in the middle in the middle of the field in a 4-4-2 and spread them out. And we can't do shit because everyone's staying in the front, not moving around. What is the game plan? Costa, please tell me you have an answer.
I'm just going to add some facts to what you said, which is at the end of the first half, it was 135 minutes without us creating a decent chance. And I was just listening to what you were saying before I came in about the team being all about get the ball out to the wings, cross it in, hit and hope it meets somebody's head, hope somebody makes a mistake. That's the only way that we've scored goals this season is set pieces, crosses into the box, and capitalizing on mistakes when we press and we have players like Agibou Camara in midfield that can steal the ball and make a breakaway. And that's how the first goal came about today. When he picked up that loose ball, he attacked the defender, hit the post, and then from the ensuing play, there was the corner from an El Arabi header.
Yep.
And the headline today is basically Nanagalao Cisse, like cheers Cisse, and that's it. Like, because if Cisse wasn't scoring that, and it would have been 0-0 or we could have lost. And going back to another point Labro made, the level of the league is so bad. Like we're plus 8 points clear at the top of the table going into the second half of the season. And I know it's a point we keep coming back to all the time. As long as the level of this league is what it is today, it's never going to push us to go to the next level where we want to get to in Europe. That's a sad truth that we have to keep reminding ourselves. Why I always talk about wanting our opponents to get better and give us more competition. Because these guys, they play in second gear. They play. I don't even know if they get into third. Maybe if they go one down, they might kick it into third gear like they did against Offi. But even then, it's like, okay, we scored the third goal. Okay, go back to first or second. There's no... I don't know what it is, man. There's no appetite. Like, the squad just looks quite depleted in terms of energy. The managers talked about it. The fitness coaches talked about the problems in the team and that things will get better. That's the only thing we can hope for right now, guys, is that, with all the problems we know they had with COVID during the summer, that there is a plan, going back to your question, that there is a plan that when they come back after Christmas, that they start to take it in their stride and they start to, give a bit more energy. The worrying thing from today's game and the last game is that the players that have energy, like natural fitness, stamina, players like Oleg, they look to be running out of steam as well. And that's worrying. That's worrying me.
Yeah, there's a couple of comments here. Philippos Mikhail, in my opinion, Bouchalakis is too slow to play with our other midfielders, both defensively and offensively. And Kostas Papadimitriou, the movement between midfield and attack area outside the opposing defense is not good enough. No killer ball, no attacking runs, no fast thinking and decision-making in attacking the ball, moving around the back. This is not working. Labro, I know you have an opinion there.
Yep.
Real quick, because...
So I have to go as well after this. I got to go back to write my final paper.
Go
on Costa. And then I'll make my point, please.
So my point might be a bit controversial because it relates to Onyekuru. Because Onyekuru actually does make runs, but nobody sees him. Or he makes the run or nobody can pick him out. And yeah, he did have a crappy game against Antwerp and he made a lot of mistakes and he didn't track back when he lost the ball. But he makes runs. He makes diagonal runs, but nobody picks him up.
He had one tonight. He had one tonight where he gave a pass. It was like a quick one and go and just never got it back. Where I thought it was good movement and just never came.
Yeah. And he connected the pass. Well,
I remember maybe it's like the 88th minute. He was down on the right side. He played some. Anyway, it looked nice. I was like, oh wow, I haven't seen that from him in a while. But anyway, the main point I have is just holy shit. Like from the summer, the team had no identity. We went 5 at the back. We went 2 strikers. We sold Hassan basically on the last day, or we got rid of Hassan on the last day. So 2 strikers is done. We go 4-3-3. We go whatever. The team creation, maybe because there was a lack of a plan, is so shit. Like Fortunis goes down in June or July, whatever, and there was no replacement. There was no creative midfielder brought in. Did the team really think they were going to get Mathieu Buena to produce like consistently? There was no creativity. Agibu Kamara, they were relying on Agibu Kamara to become their 10. He's been fantastic. He's been a great development, but like the construction this winter window, I bet we buy 1 or 2 fullbacks. Like, what the hell? Like, this is not this is shocking management of players. We saw it the summer before with fullbacks. We're going to go looking for 2 fullbacks in the winter. We're going to look for a creative player. And I bet you we're going to bring Grenier. I just have a gut feeling like we're going to bring a French guy. He's out of contract. He's cheap. They're going to be like, okay, Grenier will be the creative midfielder, the slow player with no legs. Like, it's just disconcerting. I'll wait until the transfer window is over. But if the team has any hope of doing anything this season, they need someone. Like, and I just miss that, a high quality player at the 10, who just dribbles past a few people. Like Chori Dominguez, like tonight, I was just like, God damn it, wouldn't it be amazing to have Chori Dominguez right now to just produce something, get past someone, score, make an assist? Like, we don't have that. We don't have that whatsoever. And I don't know. I don't see us going very far without that piece. And I'll say something real quick before I go. Games like tonight show to me why we lose cup games. We're going to win the league because we're consistent against the small teams. But tonight shows me why we lose cup games. Because we play like this. When you have games like this in a one-off or 2-leg thing, you go out of the cup. And I think that's why Martins has struggled historically in the cup competitions. Because Olympiacos produces games like this tonight. Or they have a game off and it just seems like these type of games are what kill you in cup competition. And we've seen that with Martins before quite a few times. And I'm not saying we're going out with Olympiacos in a week, but Martins doesn't have a good history with the cup. We'll see what happens. I'm really hoping that some money is spent and a creative player is brought, because I think that's what we need. And with that, I'm going back to writing my paper. Godspeed. I'll be listening later, not tonight, because I got to write this goddamn paper. Anyway, talk to you guys.
Good luck, man.
Good luck on your paper, Lambro. And guys, before we continue real quick, I didn't do it at the beginning of the episode like I should have, but I just wanted to say real quick, if you guys haven't done so already, please like and subscribe. I'll say it again. I say it pretty much almost every podcast. The more people that follow us, the bigger we make this community, the more we can do. And if we can do bigger and better things, that creates a better product for you guys. It makes a better experience for you. That means that we can offer better content. So please, if you know any other Olympiacos fans that are out there that it would be interested in something like this and joining the community, please get them, bring them, because the bigger we get, the more stuff we can do and the better product we can create for you guys. Now, Costa, I wanted to elaborate with kind of a hot take after what Lambro said, but I want to focus on what he said about Agibu Kamara, because I am starting to come of the belief, and I will preface this by saying I think he's a very talented kid, and I think he does have a very bright future. But if the numbers we're hearing thrown around materialize and we get an offer for him in that region of 15 to 20 million, I believe we're fleecing whoever we're getting that money from. Because if you look at the context for all of Agibu Kamara's production, it is all coming off of either A, he has won the ball off of somebody, he gets forward and he finishes based on that mistake, or a wonder goal from a set piece. Every single goal and assist has come off of something like that. In open play, he gets lost. And I don't want this to say that I don't think he's a good player. I think the kid is very talented. And I think that as he develops as a player, this will fix itself. But if we're able to get 15 or 20 million from somebody for a player who's really only successful in a more defensive approach of things, you take the money and run. You're fleecing somebody for that. And that's my hot take on that. because I've been going through trying to find out why is it I see him so successful. Like, he seems so successful in certain scenarios. And this is what I found. This is the similarity. Every opportunity, every assist, every goal he's had has come from either he has won the ball from somebody or intercepted it, goes and gets a goal or provides the assist, or it's been a wonder goal off of a set piece. Every single one. What's your thought on that?
Yeah, that's what I said earlier. It's something he's very good at doing. Is he pressing high up the field, and he's obviously quick and can get to the ball faster than others. And look, for me, I still don't know what his best position is. Like, I agree that he looks better in the center of the park, at least when he's played for us. But the fact of the matter is, we're talking about a young boy who has played 19 games of professional football, or however many it is. So you just really don't know how much he's going to progress in the coming years. The progression already from the player that we saw in I think his first game was against Ludogorets. I mean, he came on in that home game and he scored the equalizer. I can't remember seeing him in friendlies, but in general, like, you've seen him grow over the the last few months, and the potential is scary. Like, there is a lot of potential there, and if you put him around better players, who's to say he doesn't explode into this sensation? So is 15 million a lot? I don't know. I mean, some of the figures that we're hearing are ridiculous, like plus 20 million for a player coming from the Greek league. We didn't even sell Podence for 20 million euros. Yeah. So, and Podence was close to final product, I think, when he was leaving us. Exactly. So, I mean, just bringing up this comment from John, Agibus vision's not there for a 10. Yes, he's young, but I don't see how he's a 15 to 20 million player. So it's weird, man, because in some games, like, he's got the ball outside the box, I think against Balk, and he was playing these balls over the top to the attackers and playing like a 10, like, taking the game by the scruff of the neck, like getting involved and trying to playmake, trying to create for the team and for the players around him. And I don't know. I think that one thing is, since Ronnie Lopez came into the team, I think that's had some impact on his game as well, because Ronnie's been, ever since he's lost the 5 kilos and basically turned into a footballer. The ball's been going through him quite a lot, and I think they try to work in the channels. They try to work in the center of the park. Ronnie likes to drift in, so I think that's had a bit of a impact in terms of the team balance and Agibus' performance as well. He's trying to find his place in the pitch. He's kind of drifting back a little bit to get more of the ball. So, I mean, there's no doubt we have a diamond in the rough on the squad with this player. So he's young. He's young. I don't know what else to say, really. Like 15, 20 million. I don't think he's going to stay longer than the end of this season. I think at the end of the season, he's gone.
I agree. And that's part of the reason. One, I don't believe those figures for a second. But two, if it really is true that we're being offered 15 to 20 million at this stage, I feel like you just take it and run. If that's the case. Now, I kind of wanted to actually. There's a comment here from Aguilos. I wanted to. Aguilar has some good mentality, and thank God for that. For a player that is just starting to play professional and is playing game by game, 90 minutes every time, he's handled the pressure really well and developed very fast. And I think that is really important, because you need in a team where we're seeing so many players are just not. They don't seem to be there. They seem to be in second gear. It does mean something that you have somebody, besides Oleg, that is putting it out there and that is playing like that. So I do agree with that sentiment from Aguilo. I do have value. I do see value in that. Now there's a topic that we've kind of talked about a little bit on social media. We've posted about, and it's a weird one because it was something that I questioned a little bit when we brought this player in on loan. And with the Africa Cup of Nations coming up, do you think that maybe there is a solution with Karbovnik?
Yeah, so we've been putting some stuff out on our socials about this. I was thinking about it the other day. Where is Karbovnik? Like, there were rumors that he's
Hurt?
he's like being looked at by Legia Warsaw, Anderlecht, and some other teams, and it's like, hang on a minute. He's played for 2 clubs this season. If you play for a third, you can't play.
Exactly.
So, he's like, he has a calf strain, said Dimitris Christofoulidis. Refile, Karbovnik is injured. How long can you have a calf strain for? I've got nothing against Xipna crew. Like, δεν έχω τίποτα μαζί σου. Αλλά, seriously, how long can you have a calf strain for? Like,
I have had a calf strain before. I wasn't out that long. I'm going to tell you guys right now.
Exactly. It's like, I've had a calf strain. It doesn't take more than a month, like, to get in a match day squad. Seriously? Like, it must be a seriously, like, bad strain. You know what I mean? But,
yep.
Look, I want to go back to what Labro was saying about a transfer. Do we really believe that we're going to sign somebody in January and Pedro Martins is going to build the midfield around him and put them into the starting 11 immediately? When did he ever do that?
Never.
Let me think. Did he? Is there one player that we've signed that he's kind of immediately integrated into the team?
No.
That's a good question. That's a good question for the audience. Is there one player that we've signed? Is there one player that we've signed under Pedro Martins that has literally gone straight into a matchday squad and into a starting 11? I defy anyone.
Pepe did. Pepe did.
Yeah, but he's gone.
I'm just saying, when he first came in, he played 2 matches, and then we didn't see him for a while.
Maybe in Villa. Maybe. It took a couple of games. But my point is, mid-season, who are you going to find? You're going to find, like, Clement Grenier was the example that Pavon. Yeah. It's not going to happen. But really, I don't know what's going on with Karbovnik.
No, I don't know.
Do they even have this in their minds, like, to try him in midfield? Because we're hearing a lot about signings, actually, to be fair. We are hearing a lot about signings in midfield. Even I've brought this up before. Why isn't Vasilis Surlis starting to get a bit more game time? What I saw today and in the last few games is a Pedro Martins that is already thinking about January in Copa Africa and is starting to play M'Vila and Bukhalagis more together in midfield in anticipation of that. But that midfield is so... I mean, they're both not known for their pace. Yeah? So I would love to see it, Ari. I would love to see Karbovnik in midfield, but I can't see it happening because those things, you try them in games in the cup, or he hasn't shown us anything to make us think that is a possibility.
Yeah, no, I'm with you 100%. In the grand scheme of things, Martins has been anything but unpredictable, right? He has been one of the most predictable guys we've seen in terms of the style of coaching, what we're going to see. He doesn't like to take a lot of risks. We've already known that. The unpredictable part is in Europe when we see him randomly start changing formations from 4-3-3. Known quantities, though. It's always a known quantity. That's what he experiments with. That's what he changes with. And that is the problem. Now, Costa, looks like we have A couple guests coming into the lobby, guys. We did drop a link, so we're going. We're the show is open now. We want people to come in, give us your opinions. So we're going to start bringing some guests in. The link's live. If you want to join, please come and join. We'll bring in the first guest. Looks like we have here Agilos Coots from the chat to the stream. Aguilo, how you doing, buddy?
Hello, guys. How is my connection? Because I am in my room and it's not very good.
Over here.
Okay. Okay, good.
Tell us, how do you feel? How did you feel, man, about the Europa League game and this? What are your feelings about the team as it stands?
I am clearly disappointed and sad to see these results. Like I said in the comments, Martins had his mind on Aris game today when we played in Adverb. And I didn't see the best performance. And we are still not playing 90 minutes of good football. We're playing 45, 25, 35. It's still out there. And yeah, I'm disappointed because I see that the players are not playing for this. This thing may be very, very heavy for them. Yeah. And you were talking about signings. Maybe we should sign someone like a leader that must show what this badge means. And someone like Semedo, now that he's leaving, we want the locker room psychology boost. Now for Martins, that he's making rotations and he's still not figuring out what the starting lineup should be. I don't know what to do with that or what to say. But yeah, it seems rough.
Thrylos, maybe time for him to start seeing more minutes with the first team.
I hope so. I am still watching the B team play. Today I think we played with Thrylos, and he wasn't very good. It wasn't his top performance, but yeah, the kid is very good. I want him to play. But we also have Karbovnik as well. Like you were saying, he can play on midfield and Androuchos. The midfield will maybe get on a much lower level since the Copa Africa comes and Madi Camara and many people will leave. But yeah, maybe we don't need a signing, just what I said before, someone to boost the psychology of the players.
We haven't been getting anything from Madi Camara since the qualifiers. Since the qualifiers, he had a good game. Well, he was one of our better performers against Ludogorets, against Bratislava. But then it's just been all downhill with this story with him changing agent and stuff going on in the background. Who knows what's really going on? You mentioned the players aren't playing for the shirt. A player like Vasilis Thrylos might not be peaking Madi Camara in terms of ability, but he'll give you that. He'll play for the shirt, and he'll give 200% every game, which is why I'm annoyed that he hasn't been integrated into the matchday squads, getting 10 minutes a game. There's another comment earlier about, I think Roman brought it up, about Koundé. It's clear that Martins doesn't believe in him, and I think he's right. We haven't seen anything from him, to be honest, when he has played. I mean, to be fair, in the cup game against Olympiacos, he played with Thrylos for probably the first time ever. It's like a complete makeshift team. But still, like, you're playing against a second division team. It's like, come on, mate. You've played in La Liga. You've played in the Bundesliga. You're supposed to be a top player. Like, show me something. He hasn't shown much, if anything. So, I mean, it looks like he's going to go off to Copa Africa as well, by the way. So it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. You know, we're not going to be counting on him when they're gone. So yeah, again, we're talking about the same thing now. Vasilis Thrylos making a signing. Yeah, don't know what else.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know
I
if
don't know.
Thrylos can point out to his teammates that we are playing for this badge, because maybe they'll underestimate him because he's young.
Yeah.
But what I am seeing from the B team, the passion, even from Kinkwe and the other players that we have signed from other teams, they are playing for the badge. I see them playing football 90 minutes straight, not like the A team, like 45 and 15 or whatever. It's that's why I like seeing them, and I am pointing out that we have a B team to everyone. And my friends say, "Why are you watching the B team and all that stuff?" And I am replying to them because they play for this. That's what I love. Players that are playing for the badge. They make good dribbles, make a good passing game. Maybe Martin should maybe take some notes from Ibagas. I don't know.
Yeah, if he's got his players mentally focused and they're bleeding on the pitch, or so to speak, for the club, then yeah, I'm in agreement for you. And I've brought this up in the past when I played as well. You always want to have some infusion of somebody that's hungry and fighting for their spot, because that energy is contagious. When somebody comes on there, they start running, they make a good couple of plays. It starts to catch on with the rest of the team. It starts to elevate their morale, their energy. All of that makes a huge difference when you're on the field. And everybody that's played football knows that. So for me, it's just smart in general to always have somebody that's hungry and ready to come on. And Thrylos, of the B players I've seen, of the tape I've watched, looks the most ready for that jump, for that switch to the first team. And I think it could do nothing but help us, especially since this season, since preseason, he has not played a bad game when he's been called up. Even that Olympiacos game where some people were saying they didn't think he was ready. How many players do you know will complete 61 of 62 passes in a game where the team plays like shit? That counts for something to me. Exactly. And that counts for something. Even if he didn't do anything super creative, that counts for something. A 19-year-old running the possession of a first team, it means something to me.
He also goes to the midfield, something that we don't do.
Yeah.
It means
the midfielders, they don't go to the center.
Exactly. Costa, what do you think?
He has confidence. He has balls. He's not afraid to make a mistake. He's not afraid to get on the ball. If you're a midfielder, you can't hide. You have to go and look for the ball. He's not hiding. That's what I like about him. He has a lot of how to say. He's got character, man. Like you can see that he wants it, and he doesn't look like a 19-year-old kid anymore. Sometimes watching the B team, it's like he's a man amongst boys. He needs to be playing first team football. He needs to be playing with top players now, or the top players in the Greek league that play for us. Crystal clear for me.
What I also see is that he may get angry because he's playing at the very low level with the Vita Ethniki. I think his mentality is at the top level. He's like, why am I playing with these guys? They are not on my level. I saw him when it was Sunday against Panserikos, where I went to the Karaiskaki Stadium and watched him. He really showed his character there. I saw there was a time where he was closed and he made roulette after roulette. He was passing everyone. And I was saying, it was like Karamesi. It was very amazing to see.
Yeah.
The kid is unbelievable. I hope that Martins puts some mind in himself and puts him in the first team.
As do we, Aguilo. And Aguilo, thank you so much. We're going to bring our next guest in. Thank you so much. Thank you for also bringing your point of view from the field. You watch the team, and we look forward to you continuing to keep up with the B team and giving us those status reports live. So thank you so much.
Yes, regular.
Now, we do have another guest coming in, returning guest. He joined me on the solo, Jim Politis. Jim, how are you doing?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Not too much. How'd you feel? How do you feel? How do you feel? Take the last two games together, put your emotions together, and tell us what you're feeling.
Last two games. The Antwerp game, Antwerp game was probably one of the worst Olympiacos games that I've ever watched, and I can say that really confidently. That was one of the worst football games that I've ever watched, and that says something, because we're not Panathinaikos, we're not AEK, we're not PAOK, we're not Olympiacos, and that was very inappropriate. I can't say anything because for the Antwerp game because it was shit. With one word, it was shit. The only thing that I can say is Vatslake showed that showed his class, why he was that good. I saw the real Vatslake there. And I one thing that I didn't got was Ronnie Lopez not playing at 10 and getting substituted in halftime. That was the only thing that but otherwise I don't think he'd make that big of a difference. At least when everyone was underperforming in that game. Now for today versus Aris, things got better, especially in the start of the second half where we pressed a lot. Again, when our fullbacks play at least a bit good, we play good. I don't know if you noticed, but when Kenny, Lala, and Oleg Repchik play and gets up on the field, I think the team is like playing better. So I think we played not a bad game, but not the best. I don't think it was the best. Again, I don't know if you mentioned it. I got a bit late on the podcast. Ronnie Lopez got an assist today
He
from
did.
the corner, and another assist on the goal of Masuras that was disallowed. So good performance from him. Uh, Muddy Camera got in, and I was like, "That's Muddy Camera," and it wasn't the first time that happened because in the qualification games he carried the team because
Yep.
the only player that I saw in the qualification games it was Madi Kamara and like the Nefshi Baku goal that got in Karaskaki, I guess Slovan, I guess Ludogorets, the whole team was underperforming, but he was the best out of everyone. So that got me thinking, what is wrong with him?
Oh yeah. I mean that's the question we've all been asking, right? Now I will say when Madi came on, he did have a really nice look for a through ball. I think it was in like the 86th minute, I want to say.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He didn't
And
connect it.
he didn't connect it, but at least the look was there. That does count for something at this
Yeah,
point.
obviously.
So now there are a couple of comments here, and I wanted to get your guys' take on this. So the first one was where are we? Sorry, I have to scroll back down. From Viper3, Martin should try to fix the two most essential things that are holding our team back. One, Socrates slowing down our whole team's transition. Two, our fullbacks being unable to help us play fast and build up. So let's start with the first part. One, do you believe Socrates is slowing down our team's transition? And
No.
do you think that needs to be fixed? Jim, go ahead. Go first.
No, I think Socrates, at least defensively, I think he's a leader of the defense. It's at least it's my opinion. I like I saw that in the Eintracht game in Germany where we lost. I think that was Socrates' highlight. That game was really good from him. We considered I think 2 or 3 goals, but he was very good. I don't think Socrates is the problem for the slow build-up play. He is. I don't think he can play as good as he could with Manolas, for example. I don't think he fits well with Cisse or with Bar sometimes because I think we saw that in the Eintracht game in Karaiskaki when Socrates came off. I think it was due to an injury, and then Cisse and Bar played together. If okay, no, it was. I don't think it was in the Ajax game. I can't remember. Or it was Fenerbahce at Karaiskaki. But Cisse and Bar played together, and they were good. I can say they were. I didn't see a lot of mistakes from Bar. That was really. I was surprised because if he's in, he normally makes a lot of mistakes. So I don't think Socrates is a problem.
Costa?
I've been receiving some interesting messages about this recently. That, for example, when Socrates plays, the midfield doesn't feel as comfortable and they have to play further back because Socrates isn't as fast or as agile as Bar. So there are some people that have this idea that Socrates is slowing us down because our midfield has to play further back and we can't get up the field fast enough. I kind of see it and I don't see it. I don't think that's the biggest problem in this team. If you play with Cisse and Bar, then in that defensive partnership, Cisse is the one that has better ball playing ability. And when you play Cisse and Socrates, it's the same. And Cisse, let me be clear, is not a ball-playing centre-back. So, I mean, we've talked about Semedo, we've talked about Markovic. Markovic wasn't even in the matchday squad today. So, I don't know. It's a problem. It's a problem that we don't have a player that can bring up the ball from the defence because that changes everything about Yann Villar's role in the team and where he's positioned, where he receives the ball. You see all season, he's sitting in between the centre-backs. I want to see him on the halfway line, bossing the midfield, just dictating everything. I don't want to see him back there. I want to see him in the middle. And sometimes today and in the Antwerp game, I saw him at left back. So what's Yann Villar doing at left back? Why is he there? Yeah, he's covering for Oleg because Oleg's on the halfway line on the side, waiting to get the ball to give us width. But why the fuck isn't Bukalakis there? He's left-footed. Why isn't Yann Villar my best option right now in terms of passing ability? Why is he not in the middle? That is related to the centre-back issue as well. All of this, it all ties together. Go, Ari.
And no, I'm glad you brought that up because that was a point that I think Lambro and I alluded to it just a little, like right in the beginning. And it's something that we even talked about last year. Don't you remember last year? That was our hugest complaint. It was Yann Villar or Bukalakis, one of the two would always be sitting way too far back. And look at today in the second half, our only decent couple of possessions forward. Where was Yann Villar? Further up the pitch. He is the engine of possession for this team. And I don't understand why the default is that he's the one that is staying in front of the defense and not Bukalakis. I don't understand that. I don't get why it always worked fine last year when it was Bukalakis. That way Yann Villar had more freedom because he's the better possessor and distributor of the ball. So I don't understand why it's redefaulted back to this. It doesn't make any sense to me. Now we know that Martins has to have it. Part of the tactics is one of his defensive midfielders has to be the link up or the support for the defense. He's always been like that. But for it to be your better you're better distributor of the ball deeper, that limits our production, especially when in the midfield we're struggling. And actually, Aguilar brought up a great point that you had just put up on screen. He was up more up front with Offie, and he got 2 assists. Yeah, that's so true. And it's like these games that are being played with Martins, these difficult mind games that he's playing with the tactics and the formations, it just doesn't make any sense. Why do you mess with what works? I just don't understand. I really don't. And I agree with Costa that I think that's part of the reason why we have the center back issue. Also, the fact that we got so used to Semedo being such a great ball player and being so solid back there that we didn't need to have that. And I think that's also part of it. But let's move on. Let's move on to the second part. The second part of Viper's comment was our fullbacks being unable to help us play fast in the build-up. That needs to be fixed as well. Jim, what do you think about the second part?
At the start, I would really agree at the start of the season and a good part of it, but I think the last month and something, I think the fullbacks have been way better than they were. Like Kenny Lala, when he came in, he wasn't really himself, and I think he started. And I really trust him in that right back position. I really
Right.
trust him, and the same goes for Oleg Repchuk. He is won my trust, which I'll say that Oleg Repchuk was the by far the one player that I've said the most bad things. Oleg Repchuk is definitely the one, and he really changed my mind this season.
Yeah. You're not the only one. Some of my fellow co-hosts, well, one in particular, Lambro, has also said some nasty things. I think Oleg also got him to change his mind. So there's a comment here from Platon Papas about Camara. For God's sake, he doesn't care to play for this team anymore. He should have been sold in the summer transfer window. Platon, I'm going to get a little bit conspiracy theory here with you, my friend, only because I do believe that you're right. I do believe that Mahdi, was ready to move on. I think he's been ready to move on for some time. But I have a little bit more of a conspiracy theory here because we can even argue that Mahdi was ready to go even before the beginning of last season. There was an opportunity there, and even in the winter of last season. So I don't think that particular context is the reason that's the case. I think the issue that's going on with Mahdi is 100% up here. It's 100% mental. He didn't just lose his talent. The talent's there. The vision is still there. It's there in spurts. There's something else there, right? And from what we've seen, what's the only other major change that has happened in his career? Costa brought it up earlier in the show. There's one major change Mahdi has made to his career.
Who was listening to what I said?
So if any of you are listening, there's only one change that has been made to his career. So if we're getting conspiracy theory like here, I'm putting my tinfoil hat on. I'm pointing to that as the difference. Now, I don't know what goes on in the interactions between a player and his agents. I don't know what goes on between a player and the interactions between him and it also could very well be maybe something happened between his role within the team. It could be a lot of other things. But from what we've seen, the information that we have readily available, there is one big change that happened. And since that change has happened, we have seen a different player. So there's my conspiracy theory. That's it. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but that's the conspiracy.
It's not conspiracy. It's fact. Like, he changed agents. He went from an agent that was probably talking to him every day to Mino Raiola.
Right.
Who has Zlatan and some of the biggest players in the world on his books, and he doesn't talk to them, right? I mean,
right.
they're just
Or pat him on the back, like
Yeah.
encourage, and we know, like we've talked on this show with people that are agents, are actual agents of players, and smaller agents do that. They have that connection. Bigger agents probably don't. They're more successful, and that's just how it is. So if I had to put my money on it, that's what I'm going to say it is.
And this is a point being brought up by Foddy. The way he's playing now, who's going to take him?
No one.
They're going to get the 15-20 million that they wanted.
No. We'll get something, but not the money we expected. Not right now. Hell no.
No.
Yeah. No, I'm in complete agreement with that. Before we move on to man of the match and coaching's grade, though, there is another. There was another comment here that I missed. Let me pull it up real quick. Here we go. Eleftherios Machinis. Agibu, Marin, and Villa is a great mid. Masuras and Rodriguez as wingers, and El Arabi in the front. The defense is Etzi. What do you guys think about that?
The defense is a problem, man.
Oh, yeah. Well,
The defense is a problem.
Well, actually, so I'm glad you brought that up. But what the context of what the problem is with the defense? Because if we look at the game today, right, we can say that the defense did their job and that we didn't allow much to materialize in terms of possession threat, right? It's not like Socrates and Cisse were caught out. They didn't get broken open. Lala got caught forward, I think, once. Oleg was caught pinched in twice. But in the grand scheme of things, when you only allow a single shot on target, that's a pretty good day for your defense. But what don't we get out of our defense that we used to?
Build up.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and therein lies the problem. And I wanted to bring that up only because we've been shitting on the game so much today. Like the only real positive was that our defense actually did shut down. And over the course of the season, not that it speaks much in terms of Greece because the rest of the Greek league is shit, but we have literally allowed the least opportunities against us. We've allowed the least dangerous opportunities on our goal, and we've also allowed just the least volume in terms of total volume. And that does mean something. All of this that we say means something. But we are not getting that extra piece out of it, which was the buildup and the progression and the startup for that. And that's why it's a huge problem. And I don't know, besides Markovic, I don't know how you fix that. And it doesn't seem like Markovic is going to be in any plan.
The thing is, we have to... Sorry, go ahead, Jim.
No, I just comment Manolas. I think he's expensive, I know, but I really want to see Manolas and Socrates playing together for Olympiacos. That's my dream. I think if they're both on form, I don't think there's anyone getting past them.
Yeah, I definitely am in agreement for you there. Jim, thank you again for joining us once again. We really appreciate you coming on again. Two shows in a row. Love it.
I have a shout for Jim. So Jim is actually also known as allredwhite.gr on Instagram. He is one of our graphic designers. Jim, thanks for all the work that you've been doing. Mate, good luck with all your exams you're prepping for. Keep up the good work. Thanks for coming on, mate.
Thank you for having me, and good night, guys.
Kalinichta. Yeah, guys, if you haven't seen some of his images, he does incredible work. He does some really awesome stuff. So check it out. At the bottom of the pages, you'll see when we credit him, those are his images. So check him out. Give him a follow also. He does really, really good stuff. And before we get into our closing man of the match and coach's grade for these games, we do have a comment here from Aguilos. The solution is Manscaped. It may bring some goods. Yeah. Hey, listen, maybe they get rid of a little bit of that extra resistance from the hair. You know, they can move faster. Who knows?
Get those anti-chafing boxes might help.
There you go. All right, let's get this thing wrapped up. Costa, let's start with the Antwerp game. Man of the match, coach's grade.
Oh, you serious? Oh shit! Oh, all right. Wait. So we're coming to the end of the show, and I'm going to tell a nice story about some stuff that happened before the Antwerp game. So stick around for that. So stick around for that after man of the match and coach's grade, and I'll tell a nice story. Anyway, okay, Antwerp, coach's grade F. Fail. Like, put your best team out to win that game. Do everything in your power to win it, and hope something happens in the other game. I think I was the only one that really, was the dreamer here and said, go out there and win, and we're going to go through first. And he sets up the team going back to this 4-3-3 against Antwerp, who are playing their second string. What's wrong with you? Why don't you go out and attack? What message are you sending to the players as well?
Yep. If
you're setting them up in a more defensive formation. F for me, for the coach. Man of the match, Vaclik, easily. He's the only one that turned up together with the fans in the end.
Yep.
So, yeah, easy.
Yeah, it's short for me. I agree with you. F and Vaclik. You touched on the points for me. That's it. Setup was shit. I didn't like, the subs either. Well, I mean, I actually should preface that. Maybe I do a D- because I thought a couple of the subs were decent subs, but they just didn't work. The idea behind them I thought was correct, but they didn't work. So
you're right. Actually, he did make a triple sub at the beginning of the second half.
Yep.
Yeah, fair enough. But again, it's still F for me because it was all wrong from the beginning.
There you go. So now let's do the Aris game. A little bit more context, a little bit more slightly positive to take away from it. So do you want to go first for this as well?
No, you go, because I think you're going to say the same as me.
So my man of the match I'm giving it to Cisse. I know that shout out to Rony Lopez. Because, of course, Nova Sport gave him key player. He was the only guy that really created anything in open play. But I'm going to give it to Cisse, getting another goal. That's 3 goals in 2 Super League games. Got to give it to the Rock. Also pretty good at at the back. When you limit the opposition to 1 shot on target, then, I think you pretty much did your job, and he bailed us out again. And he also got his head on another one, too, after that. It didn't have quite the same force on it, but he did get his head on another one. And then my coach's grade, I wasn't upset with the start of the match. I wasn't upset with the lineup. I was happy to see Agibu back at the 10. I was okay with a Yanim Villa-Bukhalakis defensive mid-pairing, and I thought maybe we'd see something out of the wings. Unfortunately, the shape was just ugly. I got upset that I saw Yanim Villa being the one as that kind of midfield sweep that was sitting right in front of the defense. I thought it was frustrating. The changes, he came in late with changes again. I wasn't a huge fan of that. And although our press in the second half did lead to opportunities, it actually led to the opportunity that we got the goal from. Agibu Kamara got a shot that he hit the post with that was off of the press as well. I didn't think that our overall possession really improved. And the subs, when he made the subs, I mean, some of them were so late, they really didn't have much of an opportunity to make in any kind of difference, I should say. So I'm going to give Martins, and this is probably I was going to say a D for today, but with the win, and I'll do a C. I'll give him a C.
Okay, so for me, it's B- or a C. For Martins, you might be surprised.
I am, actually. I thought it was going to be worse. For him.
No. So I have this idea that with everything that we know about the team and what happened, again, I keep going back to the summer.
Yeah.
And the fact that essentially this team has had no preseason. This team didn't gel. It didn't bond. We brought new pieces in. The team was molded to play a 4-4-2. That went out the window towards the end of the preseason in Austria. Then, the European campaign started, COVID happened, blah, blah, blah. We've said it all before. It feels to me like the coach is already started another kind of preseason within the league. That's why I think we've seen a lot of late subs recently, and today players coming off in the 80th minute. I think he's trying to build up their fitness. I want to believe that it's part of a strategy to have them performing better next year when we get into 2022. So that's the only explanation I can find for making subs after the 80th minute. That's the only explanation I can find to support him. Otherwise, it's inexplicable. So why is he waiting until the 80th minute to make subs? Inexplicable. So he set up the team well today, given that he had basically 1 day not training. They didn't train. They had recovery. So they had no time on the field to actually prepare tactics like on the field. They probably watched tape. Otherwise, it was just recovery. They didn't train. They came back on Friday. They went to the training center at Aredi on Saturday. They watched tape. They, I think it was in the end 8 out of 11 players that started on Thursday played again. Set up differently, bringing in the pieces you mentioned, Agibu, El Arabi, etc. So result counts. That's why he gets the B and B minus, whatever I said. And yeah, I am hoping that he has a strategy, and the training team has a strategy. They've had a strategy every year, and I'm hoping that they have something left over for this year as well. Player, man of the match. As much as I love Pape Cisse, I'm going to get to that. Ronnie Lopez for me. I think he was pulling the strings. He was the most creative player on the pitch. Yep. He had an assist chalked off at the beginning. Got the assist with the set pieces. Set pieces in general looked dangerous today. Like that free kick he shot had power on it. Had some dip, like some curl. It was not too far. In general, like I'm for the Greek league, he's above and beyond. He's above and beyond. We saw against Antwerp, he wasn't quite ready for European pace of game, but in Greece now he's one of the best players in the league, easily.
I think you're right. And very fair. Very fair to give it to Roni. I just wanted to give the shout out to Cisse for having another goal. Striker Cisse at it again. Real quick comments before Costa gets to his story. Fotis Kokalidis. Onyekuru cares only about his hair. He needs to go yesterday. I'd rather see a young Greek player from Olympiacos B than him. I can wait for Fortounis to come back and play 4-2-3-1 again. This is not football. On Thursday, I fell asleep during the game. First time in my 40 years that I watch Olympiakos. Stotidis scored twice against the German team 14 years ago. We do not have a Stotidis in this team.
No, we don't.
We do not. And then from Aguilo, I saw this and I have an answer for you, buddy. Out of Periergia, do you have a total of how many times Rebchuk has been fouled? I really respect his physicality with being fouled so many times in these single matches. And yes, my friend, I do have this for you. If we look at all of what he has done for Olympiacos this season in all competitions, he leads the team in fouls drawn with 40. He has been fouled a total of 40 times.
Is that it? It's been kicked in the face a few times as well.
He has been fouled 40 times, guys, this season. And I'm going to go one step further here because I pulled up the ranking in Greece to see in terms of fouls drawn how let me pull this up here. Fouls suffered. So in In the Greek league, he is not the most fouled player. He is up there, but he is not, unfortunately. Most of actually the fouls that he's drawn has been in Europe, but there are players that have been fouled a lot more than him in Greece. But I was curious to see that. But yes, he is the most fouled player on our team. Costa, story time, baby.
Yeah, before that, I've got a little pop quiz for you, Ari. What's the English word for hypotoniki? Do you even know what that means?
I have no idea. I don't think I've ever heard that word before.
Hypotoniki is the Greek word. I don't know what the equivalent English word is. I'm going to need to look that up on Google Translate in a minute. Maybe you're doing that right now. Hypotoniki.
That's what I'm looking up. Yeah,
that's how I felt about the team against Antwerp, because our good friend Fotis said I fell asleep during the game. First time in my life, 40 years watching Olympiacos. Yeah, I was at the game, mate, on Thursday, and it was the performance was hypotoniko. I don't know the English word. Sorry.
Hypnotic is what
it rubs off on the fans too a little bit as well. Do you know what I mean? Like always the people that go to away games. If you guys listening, you've never been to an away game with Olympiacos, you have to. That's where you see all the diehard fans. Really, everyone that's there. Like you can have a Karaiskaki with 35,000 people, and yeah, we all know how that is, like on the good nights. But trust me, those 1,000 or 2,000 or max 3,000 to 4,000 that you will meet away, they'll make more noise. They will make more noise. It's insane. So yeah, go to an away game, guys, if you get the chance. My story. So I got to go to the Players Hotel on Thursday, and I met Pape Cisse at the Starbucks that was connected to the hotel where they were staying. I've met a lot of footballers in my life, and most of them aren't very open. You know, I mean, they want their space. Like, I'm also not the kind of guy to like go up to a group and like annoy them. Like, anyway, Cisse was at the counter, and he was ordering coffee. And the lady behind the counter, she was Italian, and I was there with my buddy, and we didn't want to bother him. And he starts talking about, our Greek coffee is better than Italian coffee or whatever. He gets into this debate with the lady behind the counter, and then I pop in. I was like, yeah, you've been drinking too much freddo, cappuccino, frappe, inglifada, haven't you, mate? And he starts laughing, and then something happens. He turns around to me and my buddy, and it's like, what do you guys want? It's like, do you want a coffee? It's like, no, mate, no. It's like, I'll buy my own coffee, don't worry. It's like, no. I'll get you what you want. It's like, no. I'll get my own coffee, don't worry, thank you very much. It's like, no. I insist, back and forth, like 4 or 5 times, guys insisting to buy us our coffee. I think we arrived there at about 10:30, 11 o'clock. Anyway, it's never happened to me before. So like, to meet a football player that's so warm, like so kind and generous, like it was really a pleasant surprise. Like, and the guy sat and he joked around with us and like took pictures with us, and it was really, really nice. So shout out Pape Abou Cisse. We knew you had a big heart and that you're Olympiakara, but really my opinion of him, if it was already like very high in terms of the character that he shows on the field, his manner, the way he is on and off the field, like it went up even more. Like after meeting him, after talking to him, I showed him some of the stat cards that we made. Like we make stat cards. If anyone's seen them on our Instagram, on our Twitter, we put them out. We make stat cards after games, like looking at who the best players were on each game. There's been a couple on Cisse, and I showed him. I was like, look, I'm one of these guys that makes these cards for you. And he's like, oh yeah, I've seen them. My brother sends them to me. I don't handle my own socials, so sorry if I haven't followed you back. no, he was really, really top guy. Pape Cisse. I'm going to be sad to see him go when he does go, but I'll be happy for him as well. Deserves it. If there's one player like this season that we'll have our Gate 7 International Awards at some point. But so far for me, he's been MVP this year, without shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, I got to tell you, that's like so heartwarming. You know what I mean? Because I've met quite a few footballers in my time, professional footballers, and I have only once ever had like an experience that was even close to that. And it was actually with Yorgos Karagounis when I watched the Greek national team play. Let me tell you, this guy tried. There was a pitch invader. We were at the friendly with Greece, Ecuador. And there was a pitch invader, a guy like after the game was over, Karagounis forced all the other guys on the national team. Nobody wanted to come see the small contingent of Greek fans that came because it was majority Ecuador fans. He forced them all to come over and, come. He was the first person to throw his jersey. I caught his training kit. I still have it to this day. I've worn it a couple of times when we've done Ethniki podcasts. And some guy actually jumped and like tried to get a jersey from like him, and he got taken away by security and whatever. Karagounis still went, even after that guy did that. He still went to try and get the security to let him go. When they had him in holding, they had cops pick him up. He wanted to know where the station was so he could go get the guy out. Absurd. But you love when you meet a footballer that's like such a legend, and you build up such like an idea of them when you see how they play on the pitch. So it's just nice when they live up to that. And it's fantastic. So thank you so much for sharing that, Costa. That makes me feel good too, just hearing it. Even though I've heard it, you saying it again still makes me feel good every time I hear it. Anyway, any final thoughts, Costa, before we get to closing up here?
No. What's the next game now?
Next game, I think, is Wednesday against Atromitos. Not a cup game. It's just the second half of the league begins before playoffs. So we will play Atromitos again.
And Olympiacos is a midweek game as well.
Correct. I think that's the following week, right? So not this week, next week.
So the 15th on Wednesdays, Atromitos away, then Lamia at home on the 19th, and the last game in December is 22nd of December at home to Olympiacos.
So we can get all of our schedules to work out. We'll do post-match after the Atromitos game. Otherwise, guys, just keep an ear out. Like I said, we have that interview coming up. We'll get the details out shortly with Socrates. Socrates Selas, actually from Olympiacos New York Academy. That's one interview. Teddy Menis from the Olympiacos fan club of New York. We're also going to be looking to bring a couple of the players on board from Olympiacos DC. We have a basketball episode that's going to be coming up as well for all of you basketball fans. And beyond that, also we're going to try and put together the Boozing with the Boys that we did not do back in September. Sorry about that, but we are going to get that rolling as well. A Christmas theme Boozing with the Boys as usual. So we'll be getting that rolling. Keep an eye out on our socials. And if you guys haven't done so already, please like and subscribe on all of our platforms. The more people, like we said, that join in, the bigger the community gets, the bigger stuff we can do, the better content we can provide for you guys. So please, please, please. And who knows, we get bigger community. Maybe we get full 90-minute performances out of this Olympiacos team. So please like and subscribe. And for everyone that has been tuned in, thank you guys for listening, especially if you made it this far. This is Gate 7 International, by the fans, for the fans.
You just listened to an episode of the Gate 7 International Podcast, a podcast connecting Olympiacos fans from Brussels to Tokyo, from Toronto to Geneva. We are 4 Olympiacos fans from every corner of the world, bringing you news and interviews of the team you love in English. With new episodes twice a week, You will never miss out on the latest updates and stories of the team you love. If you liked what you heard, make sure to follow us on social media at Gate7INTL, give us a subscribe on YouTube, or even leave a review on all our podcast channels. Until next time, this is our team, our city and our story. Thrylos είσαι. Στο μυαλό κάτι μαγικό.